What's going on, guys? I'm trying out something new. I had people submit some questions. I posted a little thing on Instagram asking for some questions, maybe some things you guys might be interested in learning about. And I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to answer those questions to the best of my ability. I have some screenshots here of what you guys asked. Oh, that's my dinner from last night. Of what you guys asked, and I'm going to answer them. Might go into depth on some of them, might stay kind of casual on some other ones. But we're going to answer just a few of them right now, and we'll see how this format goes. I may or may not feel comfortable doing this. I don't know. We'll see. One of the first ones here that we have is trying to not be seen while working in a smaller church. I think this is pretty common. I think this is a common question that I hear often. I think that in the greater creative community, most of us are dealing with that. I think it's few and far between that you have a very large church with a full creative team, a lot of space to maneuver. I think the majority of people in churches, creatives in churches, are dealing with smaller spaces, smaller altar spaces, smaller churches, maybe just not a lot of people in general. And so there's a lot of pressure there. This feels awkward. It feels uncomfortable. And so how do you remain not seen? How do you remain invisible with the camera in your hand while you're videoing or taking photos? There really is only one answer, I believe. I think there's nuanced answers that I can give, like, wear dark clothing or stay on the outskirts or, get what you need to get and then get out. But I think the real true answer is, as long as you are involved in the service, that you are as unseen as anybody else that's involved in the service. And I mean that by this. When worship is going on, if you're also worshiping, you're just a part of what's already happening. You're nothing new, you're nothing added, you're not in addition to. You're already a part of what's going on. And something that I do, and I feel that everyone should do, I'm a worshiper. And so when I'm in the front and I am worshiping through my talent, I'm also worshiping with my hands lifted. I'm worshiping by singing. I'm worshiping by praying vocally. And it may not be your personality to do that. You may feel more introverted and shy. But the reality is that's an opportunity for you to give God glory, you to give God honor and worship. And no matter how shy or introverted you might feel, it sometimes is good to step out of your comfort zone and be involved. You're already going out there and taking photos. So do all the other stuff, wear dark clothing, get your shot and get out of the way, but also be a part of the service. And when it comes time for the preaching, in all honesty, when the preacher's making a good point, just walk right up there, get what you need to get, and then get out of there. Another practical recommendation is to get a lens that's a little bit longer. 70 to 200 is a perfect lens for anybody in a church to get, no matter how big your church is. 70 to 200 will, you could stand in the back of a church and still get what you need to get. So if you're more introverted, if you like to just gather stuff a little more, behind the scenes, go ahead, grab yourself a 70 to 200. They're kind of expensive, so save up for it, and I promise it'll help you in the long run. Or you can just get a 50 to 100 Sigma. It's a little less expensive. You don't get the internal stabilization that the 70 to 200 would offer, but you still get a good glass and you still get that nice focal length. And that was from Alyssa Massey. Alicia D. Hatfield. She said, tips for handheld during worship. This is kind of my favorite thing to do. I don't use gimbals. I don't use easy rigs. I don't use any. I have this gimbal sitting right here for the show. This is very specialized. I just used this for a talking head yesterday. I have it all mounted up vertically. I had one tripod horizontal and I had this vertical, and I was doing it for a promo for our church. But when it comes to worship, when it comes to preaching, when it comes to anything in service capture, I like to be handheld in the mix of everything. That's me, that's my personality, that's how I am. And so when I'm up front and I've got my camera, I'm all vertical, I'm right in the mix of it all. And for me, I get better flexibility when it comes to capturing what's going on. I also don't feel like I'm obnoxious. Imagine walking into service and you've got this thing and you're, in everybody's face, getting all the shots that you need. It's cumbersome. It's obnoxious. It also is a distraction. So take it off. Just go handheld. You get the same stuff, and it might not be as stabilized. You're shooting for social media. It's raw, it's authentic. It doesn't need to be corporate and stiff. Unless that's the look that you're going for, I prefer the raw, authentic look. Not messy, just raw and authentic. Anyways, when you're up in the front and you're capturing that content, get the moment, capture the moment, but don't put so much pressure on yourself for perfection. Just get what it is. In fact, you can go back and look at General Conference Media. There were 3 videos that we posted where in the video, you can literally see me running with the camera to go get a shot somewhere else. And we just kept it all in there. And for us, it was really cool because it was like, you don't get to see that perspective too often. You don't get to see the cameraman running around and doing. So there's another one where literally I set the camera down, I started worshiping. And later on, I was going to delete that video, and I was going to, I was like, I'm probably not going to use that. And I talked to the social media coordinator. I was like, hey, so I edited something, and I was like, hey, what do you think about this? Like, does this seem cheesy or whatever? And he was like, bro, we got to post that. That's awesome. Like, that's super authentic. Like, let's post it. And it did really, really well because people were able to see that those who work in media, those who are doing the content creation are also involved in the services. And it was a little bit of like a boost of, hey, these guys are cool. These guys aren't, hanging out in the back of the churches, not really, a part of what's going on. So be comfortable with it. Just get up there, capture the stuff, keep it all, handheld and get what's going on, get what's happening. In addition, if you're looking for something that stabilizes you while you're handheld, that's just going to take some practice. I like to tuck my arms in tight, and I'll hold it like this, and I'll have my screen coming out right here at the bottom, and I'll just be looking at it like that. That's how I keep it stabilized. Also just kind of walk smooth. So if you're a lady wearing heels, maybe leave the heels behind for the service. I would just practice being smooth with walking, and I have a good friend. His hands jitter a lot whenever he's holding a camera, so he has to be very, very intentional of calming himself down and being still with his hands while he's shooting. So those are just practical things. There's not really like a surefire way to be steady with your camera when you're going handheld. But again, just be authentic and just get the stuff. I hope that answered your question. No, that was a long answer. Marie Liara says, what's a great phone app to use if your budget can't afford you a camera? So I'm assuming that she's meaning an editing app, maybe, like where you can edit from your phone. I've got several recommendations for in-phone editing apps, whether it's photo or video. CapCut is a great recommendation, great option. It's like if you're on social media at all, you've seen CapCut, you know that there's a lot you can do there. InShot is another great way for you to edit videos, and that one's a little more drag and drop, and not as in-depth as CapCut can get, because in CapCut you can do all sorts of incredible things, and if you pay a little monthly fee, there's even more that you can do. Canva is a great free option, and if you do pay for the subscription, you can also get some really incredible options with that. Studio is another free option that if you pay for a subscription, you can get more, but Studio is like your Photoshop for your iPhone, and it's very, very easy to use. Unsplash, you can get free photos, and literally thousands of free photos that you can use for graphics or whatever. Sure, there's a lot of other recommendations. I don't really use my phone very often, but I do keep some stuff on there just in case I need to let out a quick edit. Also, DaVinci Resolve is completely free. So if you're only shooting on your phone and you're looking for something to edit video with, you can grab DaVinci Resolve. It just takes a little bit of learning to invest in that and learn how to use that program. AR Creates. Shout out, incredible designer. Making better recap videos at church so they don't all look the same each week. I'll just be 100% transparent. I don't make recap videos at my church, so it's not an issue that I've run into. And so answering this question is going to come from more of a, this is maybe what I would do, not so much of a this is what I do. For my church personally, and for other churches, what I recommend people do is instead of recap videos, just capture the service. Just capture what's going on in service. And so capture the worship, capture the preaching. If the kids are doing something, if the youth are doing something, if the hyphen's doing something, capture what's going on there, and save some of that post for throughout the week. Take lots of photos of faces and smiling faces. Be fun with your social media. No matter what your voice or your image is online, social media is a great way for you to have fun, and your website's a good opportunity for you to be serious. And so Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, Twitter. Those are, great locations for you to engage your community and have fun with your community. So in terms of a recap video each week, I don't know if it's even necessary for you to do a recap video each week. I think it might be a little bit excessive. I also think that if you're going to look at, what are people going to engage with, recap wise, they'll probably engage with content that speaks to them more than content that's just cool to look at. And so what a lot of people are doing, and what always tends to work, is just cutting up the sermons. If you've got a good ACAM on your live stream, something that's good, getting the pastor, cut up that, however long he preached, that hour-long sermon, cut that up into 3 or 4 different clips that you can sparse out through the week until the following Sunday. You have 4 videos that you can post through the week, plus whatever you're designing, whatever photography you have, and whatever videos you've captured handheld. So you've got a lot of content that you can work with. I tend to lean away from recap videos simply because, especially for a church setting, simply because it's too much to consume for the average person. It's just a lot, and most people are scrolling away from anything that's not punchy, has a good, 1 to 3 second hook, or is longer than 20 to 30 seconds. So something to keep in mind. I think that was it. Yeah, that's gonna be all for this little series. My name is Martin Libby. I am the owner of Unveil Your Story, and we are a conglomerate of creatives, a smorgasbord of talented individuals from all across the United States and even the world. We're multidisciplinary creatives, and so we have a range of web developers all the way to social media managers that work underneath the umbrella of Unveil. We do everything from live production all the way to just managing your account for your local business or your local church, whatever it might be. So if you're interested in learning more about what we offer, maybe how to be a part, or learning more about our services, visit our website. Let us know how we can help you and how we can be a part of whatever it is that you have going on.